Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is David Ben 85 commentating in round 4, the Japanese Grand Prix of the FA2 Sprint League in Japan, Suzuka circuit. So as we can see, we've got a fantastic weather today, which is going to cause many interesting driving techniques for these guys coming out today. So last time out in Malaysia, Snixel bringing it home in P1 with Boppo 97 in P2 and De Thomas in P3. So judging by the weather today, we're going to imagine that these guys are going to be coming out on the wet compounds. And here we are, a couple of drivers out. There's Jason 007 on the wet compound tyres in the Ferrari, making his way on his outlap. We ride along now with De Thomas, who finished in P3 in Malaysia. Good solid drive from him, very consistent driver. So we're expecting positive things from this driver today in the McLaren. So this circuit in Suzuka, 3.6 miles long. It's very interesting. And the way we've got a couple of retired drivers already. Wouldn't be surprised if a couple of them play that strategy rather than come out and make a run, save the tyres and retire to the pits. Let's ride along now with Ahi Decker, very fast and consistent driver throughout the AOR leagues. And we'll keep with Ahi Decker from assuming, there we are, 145 sets the pace with a 145.04. So we ride along now with S40TYD, who's in P2 at the moment. Fantastic drive from him. And there we are, there's the one-shot qualies over and done with Ahi Decker with a 145 in P1. The Scotsman in P2, again with a 145. And with Snixel P3 in that Toro Rosso with a 146.1. So a couple of drivers unable to make it today. No Nezran, unfortunately, couldn't make it. He's enjoying himself at the WRC World Rally Championships. And we're missing the dreamy F8 driver, Washio 3. Very consistent driver within the F8 tier. Has had a spring of bad luck coming through the F2 calendar. So we're standing in today for IEJ. Ian, who unfortunately couldn't make it today. We commentated with Ian last time out in Singapore with McQuiz. So here we are. Three red lights, four red lights, five red lights, and we're away. Very good getaway there from my Decker. No initial contact on the launch, which is good, nice and positive. But coming through turn one, we've got a couple of cars already off the track. Schnitzel lost a couple of places there. Very interesting. Well, let's stay with IE Decker, who's a very consistent driver within the, like I said previously, within the F8 tier. And we've got a car out. We've got some problem. We've got a yellow flag. Mr. Robin in the Mercedes. And we have a retirement. Slash has retired. Oh, what a shame. Oh, we've got cars all over the place. Mr. Robin's going to join in the wall there. Unfortunately, with these conditions, wet weather conditions, it was going to make this race that interesting. So let's have a look. Let's go through the field. Let's look at Extremer, 3/10 off De Thomas. Another very consistent driver. But Tom, running wide there, was closing in on De Thomas. Almost 2/10 of a gap. Let's keep an eye on these deltas now. Thomas's delta to Extremer is reducing ever so slightly. But lap 1 of lap 13, they've got a couple of drivers going wide. What's happened to Decker? Slipping down the field. IE Decker, 6. Oh, he's had a horrid start. What has gone on there? He's got some front wing damage. Oh my god. What a disaster for IE Decker. Please tell me that's not going to count. He literally lost his wheels. We're just going to stay with IE Decker. Let's see what happened there. Is he in? Or has he retired? No, I'm assuming he's retired. Back to the front runners. P1, Pascal. P2, S40. And P3, Schnitzel. Schnitzel and a Toro Rosso, 3/10 behind S40. Managing to keep the momentum and the pace with his fellow Toro Rosso driver up in P2, who's lost it. He's hit the wall, and he's got some damage to his wing. These weather conditions are playing havoc with the drivers today. What a disaster for the Toro Rosso. Well, that's going to cause him problems with his downforce now. His initial turning points into the curbs. He's going to have to brake a lot earlier now to try and get those curbs, get those corners. There we are. Oh, he's going to go off. Took the words right out of my mouth. There we are. So with the damage to S40, we've got Extremer and Cam making their way up through the field, up into P3. Fastest lap there, with a 1:46. And who was that? That was Milan Klaus. Very good drive in the wet there. Let's take a look down the field. We've got Norrell in the Red Bull, 7/10 behind S40 with that wing damage. So that won't stay like that for long. And I think that's confirmed, as earlier on, IE Decker, unfortunately, out. So 2 cars out at the moment. Slash 851 with an early retirement. And a 3-second penalty being awarded to Tom. So 3 laps into the 13-lap race. 2 cars out. And very interesting weather conditions, playing havoc with these drivers. But we're staying with Pascal now, who's having a solid drive. And that delta to Schnitzel has been increasing. So he's having a fantastic drive. If he can just keep his composure, he should be fine. Let's go back to the field. And we've got Norrell, who's just overtaken Tom. I could see that delta dropping there. We've got cars going wide. This is going to be close. Oh, we've got contact. Tom, a little bit late on the brakes there, has made contact with a few drivers, and I can imagine there being some wing damage there. But Pascal has just posted the fastest lap with a 140, so he's making some headway now. And we're going to stay with Tom, who's got, yeah, severe wing damage. Front end plates are gone, and he's in to get that wing changed. Surprisingly, S40 still got that wing damage and stayed out. So that's an interesting one. I know we have wet weather conditions, but you'd think you'd need all the downforce possible in these conditions. He's struggling with the front end of that car. Let's have a look. Let's see how Jason 007, F8 driver in the PS4 League. He's down in 9th. 7.5 seconds away from P8 Milan Klaus, who is closing in on S40. So S40 is dropping back throughout the table. So surely he's going to have to come in. Was that contact there? Did Milan Klaus get contact? That looked like contact to me. We'll stick with these two. Let's see if S40 TYD does come in and pit. You would think so. And there we are. Milan Klaus able to get in with a late break in, use that downforce, and takes S40 TYD, who is coming into the pits. Let's move up to P3. These guys in P4, P3, extremely close with the deltas. We've got D. Thomas, and Tom has retired from the race. What's happened there? Well, this is not going to be, it's not the first, it's not going to be the last, unfortunately. Tom, down in P13, has retired. Here's our race leader, Pascal, P1, on lap 5. 1.8 seconds ahead of Snickshall, who's continued to chase him down. But the German is dropping back. Gap now up to 2 seconds. So we can see the weather conditions. The rain has eased up. And we have Extremer on the inters. So the weather conditions for the race, downpour at the start, easing off as we go through. We're right along with Extremer. 3/10 behind Cami. Can he make the move? We're right along board these two now. Late break in to get past the Toro Rosso, and Snickshall going wide there. So that's Extremer and Cam K capitalising on the mistakes. And that's the thing with these guys, particularly in Snickshall and Extremer. Very fast and consistent drivers. If you're going to make a mistake, they're going to be there to take their opportunities. We've got Milan Klaus dropping down the field. Mr. Robin in P11. Snickshall's been awarded a 3-second penalty now. What I can only imagine is it corner cutting and exceeding the track limits. Let's ride along. with Joshua Luke in P12, who looks to be having that front wing change, and he's on to the inters. He will not be happy with that P12 at the moment, so he'll be looking to climb the field, but 30 seconds almost behind Mr. Robin, who's in P11. Right, let's ride along with the guys up in P3 and P2. Schnitzel makes the move there. Fastest lap, Extrema with a 1:45.08 in the Haas. This looks like a very interesting battle. But you get that corner wrong late on the braking, it's going to be catastrophe coming through turn 1 and turn 2. Extrema, 3-second penalty, multiple warnings. Well, between 4th, 5th and 6th, that's going to bring him right down the field if it stays like this. And we've got a yellow flag in sector 3. Oh, look at this. His wheel is literally hanging off. He's out. That is a retirement. You can pit all you like, my friend. You are not going back out. Let's stay with Milan Klaus in P9. Coming in, another driver with a front wing change, and onto the intermediates. So we can see those weather conditions have stopped now. The rain has ceased. And out onto the intermediates comes Milan Klaus in P9. So lap 7 of lap 13 of the Suzuka Grand Prix. We had Slash, who's the first victim to the wet conditions, then IE Decker, then Tom, and now he was leading this race, S40 TYD. But it seems a lot, and Milan Klaus is out. Oh dear. Is he out? What a shame. 5 drivers have now retired from this race due to the conditions. Well, we're going to ride up top with Extrema in P3, who's brought his delta down to 4/10 now to Kamike. And we've got yellow flags pinging left, right and centre all over the sectors. Let's go up front with your leader, Pascal, P1, lap 8. 1 second, just over 1 second ahead. Extrema, something's happened there because Lakitu now up into P3. Let's have a look. Joshua making his way through the field, as I said he would. Right along with the guys in P8 and P7. This is D. Thomas, 8/10 behind Jason, the F8 driver. That delta now down to 7/10. What do we have here? Another car coming off. Extrema falling down the pecking order now, down into P5. Going wide. He's going to come in. He's got front wing damage as well. I've literally lost count with the amount of wing damages we've had. So he's going to fall down into P6, with Norrell taking P5. But he needs to be careful here because Jason and De Thomas. No, Jason's going to pit. So I was mindful of Jason coming past the pit and taking that position from Extrema. But there we are, Extrema out on the super softs. Well, that's an interesting call. And we have a yellow. Sector 1. Norril, the Red Bull driver, with another casualty of a front wing damage here today. He'll need to make it back gingerly, get into the pits on lap 9 with the Thomas chasing him down. So that move will take off shortly. Let's ride along with a P3 driver, Cami K, 3/10, the delta dropping. Can he make a move? Coming through the last corner and getting a nice exit onto the pit straight. It's a bit of a messy execution of the last few corners, and he's lost time there. So 3 laps to go, and we have 5 drivers out of the race, and I believe 2 of them, possibly 3, I'm going to go 2, have hit the pit entry wall as they've come into pit and sustained terminal damage. So this has been a fascinating race. Weather conditions causing havoc at the start of the Grand Prix with these drivers, and the wet track, greasy track has taken its victims. So here's your race leader Pascal with a 3.2 second gap to Lakitu. Pascal's had a very, very consistent and solid drive today. Let's hope he can keep his composure and bring the race home. Hoping that there's no commentator's curse there. So an evenly spread set of drivers on the track now. No initial deltas. Well, Cami is bringing that delta, and what's going on there? Lakitu has lost amounts of time there, coming through the last sector. And kudos to the Williams driver, capitalising on that. Moved up into P3. That delta now to Lakitu, increasing ever so slightly. Let's take a look through the field. 10 drivers remaining of the 15. Riding on board with the Mercedes driver, Mr. Robbing. 9 seconds from Joshua Luke in P9. Seems to be taking a little bit easy there. Getting the car straight before getting on the throttle. Wow, we've got another switch back here. Great battle we've got going on between P2, P3 drivers Lakitu and Cami K. Fascinating drive. So Lakitu with a phenomenal drive today, up 10 places. In P12. Up into P2. Sterling drive. Another big mover of the day. We have Extrema, who's up 8 places. Well, let's just stay on board with Cami K with a fight for P2. He's only 3/10 behind Lakitu. Just be coming on to lap 12. Oh, what's happened there? Lakitu off the track, coming through corners 2 and 3 there. He will not be happy with that. What happened there? Cam K comfortably sat in P2 with a 2.5 second delta to Lakitu. Let's ride on board with your P1 driver, Pascal, up 4 places, coming through the last sector of Suzuka circuit, with a 4.5 second delta to Kami K. Very, very consistent drive from Pascal. Hopefully he can keep it together. Let's take a little look through the field. Schnitzel comfortably in P4. No initial threats from any driver from behind. Down to P5 with the Thomas. 19 seconds away from Schnitzel. But we have Extrema, who's sat in P6. He's also got some work to do. Jason, F8 driver, down in P7. Also having a lonely drive. But there we are, so the DRS is enabled. But unfortunately, that's a little bit too late for some drivers, so that would indicate that the track is drying up. So here we are, last lap, lap 13. Pascal making his way gingerly through the field now with a comfortable 4.7 second gap to the second place driver, Kami K. What a fantastic drive from Pascal today. Really kept his composure. It's had a sterling drive. As he comes through the last sector of this Suzuka circuit. I am not going to say too much. I do not want to give this guy commentator's curse. I've seen Soup do that plenty of times throughout the leagues. But here he is, Pascal, comes through the last corner onto that pit straight. Phenomenal drive from the Ferrari driver. Sterling effort, up 4 places and wins the Japanese Grand Prix. And there we are, P2 driver, Kami K, coming in at home for the Williams team. Fantastic drive, up 7 places. So another big mover. And this solidifies the podium spots. Lakitu, P3, up 9 places. Fantastic drive. So a fantastic end to the Japanese Grand Prix with some early victims. 5 drivers sustained some critical damage throughout the race. So Milan Klaus, S40 TYD, Tom, I.E. Decker and Slash, all victims of the early rain on the Suzuka circuit. So good solid drive there from Jason in P7. Norrell in P8. Joshua P9. And Mr. Robin P10. And there we have it. Pascal, the German, solidifying first place in the Japanese Grand Prix. Now comes the champagne. Well done to the drivers today. Tricky conditions. I wouldn't have liked to have been out there, but unfortunately I will be on Sunday. So here we go, the next session underway. I'd like to see the weather conditions dry up. If I'm honest, it was nice to see good, consistent, and good competitive driving in the dry on this track. We will be going shortly to the second race. Just waiting for some minor tweaks and alterations to the settings. I'm told a couple of minutes and we'll be on our way for the second stint of the F2 Japanese Sprint. Let me know, put your comments in the box below. If you're watching the stream, let me know who your driver of the day so far is and who we should give the wooden spoon to. What will the weather conditions be this time? Well, this is a good indicator for my my race on Sunday. I race in the AOR F8 tier league with the dreamy guy himself, Washio3. As many of you may know that gentleman. So there we have it. So far, we have Pascal as the driver of the day. I can't disagree more. Fantastic drive from him there. Very composed. So this time around, reverse grid for the top 8. "20 seconds before lights out. And we have dry conditions. Grab your popcorn, ladies and gentlemen. Reach for your nachos. It's going to be an interesting second race of the Japanese Grand Prix. 2 lights, 3 lights. And we go. Good solid drive. There we have, we've got an overtake already going into turn 1. Good solid overtake there from Jason, from the F8 driver. Slightly wide, coming through turn 2 and 3. And he's away. De Thomas, P3, sat in behind Norrell in P2. Extrema, P4. Black E2, P5, closing up to Extrema. That'll be one to watch, but we've got someone falling back, Mr. Robin. And Milan Klaus having a good tussle there. Slight contact, and we have a yellow flag. Slash, unfortunately, continue his ways from the first race. S40 down to P14. Ayedeka 13. Milan Klaus P12. Tom, oh dear me, what happened there? Wow. 2 cars, Milan Klaus and Tom, both out. Contact coming through sector 2. That is a shame. Well, Jason's just set the fastest time of 1:35. And Norrell making his way up through the field. Just got past Jason there, who had just set the fastest time for this track. So Norrell up into P1. Let's ride on board with Jason, who's got Thomas just under 2/10 behind him. That orange McLaren filling the Ferrari's mirrors. Slight leg break in there for Jason. Would have liked to have seen fourth gear going through there, carrying momentum through the corners and onto the accelerator. We've got some movement in P4. Schnickschel into Thomas. Schnickschel making his move on the inside. Thomas tucking behind him. Won't chance his arm there with a late braking move. Let's ride on board with the Thomas. 2/10 behind Schnickschel in P4. And look how close these drivers are. And Norrell making some headway up front there. Will we have contact? Slight contact there. Jason defending those corners, coming through the last corner, but Extremer, good traction. Norrell setting a 1:34.14 for the fastest lap there. And Lakitu has come into the pits. Oh, contact there, and that's going to be a damaged wing. A little late on the brake there, out of position for De Thomas, has caused some damage. Let's ride up with Mr. Robbing, P9. Slight improvement from the first race, and we've got cars dropping left, right and centre here. Norrell, how have I missed that one? What has gone on there? Can't see any initial damage to that front wing, but down in P9. This is going to be an interesting race for that man. But let's make our way up through the field. Cam K, P8, sat behind Mr. Robin. Will he feel any effects of that dirty air? Mr. Robbing, Mercedes driver, P7. Good drive now, but Extremer with a 1:33. No, S40 now with the fastest lap of a 1:33. So the top four drivers all stuck to each other's gearboxes. Let's make our way up through the field. Ie Decker, P5. And look at Joshua, P4. Tucking in behind Jason in P3. Wouldn't want to chance anything go through here. Joshua Luke keeping the fourth gear and the momentum through the corner. So lap 4 of lap 13, and we have Milan Klaus and Tom out of the race with that earlier collision. Pascal going wide there. Let's stay on board with Joshua. Will he get the slipstream of Jason and make the move? This is going to be tight, ladies and gentlemen. No, backs off. Very wise. But look to his right. Who is this? Ie Decker. Capitalising on that marginal error going on the grass there. Losing time. DRS, slipstream. I sense a late braking move coming into P1. No, sensible. Plays it safe, tucks in behind. And Schnickschel, P10 driver, now in the pits. Lakitu, fastest lap at a 1:31.14. on the soft compound tyres. So we've got Slash coming on the super softs. An interesting strategy there. I'm not entirely sure I can see those lasting until the end of the race. So let's ride on board with our P5 driver, Joshua Luke. Let's make slight contact there with Jason in P4. And wing damage. So he's going to have to pit. And he's got Cami K just under 3/10 behind him. So he's going to have loss of downforce now, loss of grip going through these corners. He's not going to be able to be as aggressive as he wants. Is he going to pit? And in he comes, Renault driver in to change that front wing. So he'll drop back ever so slightly now. Let's check on these deltas. So Kamicom in P6, still stuck to the gearbox of that Ferrari. Jason in P5, who's having a good drive. The Lakitu with the fastest lap, that Haas driver getting a 1:30. So the delta's really dropping now. The P9 driver setting fastest lap of the race so far. Let's make our way up. Have a look at the leader. Extremer, P1, just over 3 seconds. Pascal, nice comfortable delta coming through sector 2. Just needs to keep his composure and his rhythm. But Pascal in P2. No initial concerns or threats from Decker at the minute. It's 1.6 seconds behind in P3. Right on board with Decker. He's on the soft compound tyres. And this should take him to the end of the race. Well, Jason now dropping down the field ever so slightly, down into P6. As Cam K making that move stick, coming through turn 1 and 2, up the hill to turn 3 and 4. It's a very tricky sweeping left, sweeping right set of chicanes. Now right on board with the Renault driver Noril, starting P7. Lakitu setting some blistering times at the moment. Lap 7, can he do anything? Can he make any headway? So big movers of today. Our P3 driver, Decker, up 11 places into P3. Pascal up 6 places. And we've got S40 TYD also up in P4. Who's moved up 10 places. So Decker 142 coming into the pits. Let's have a look and see what these guys are going to be doing. On the softs, super softs. Now we'll see some deltas fall. Now we'll see some challenges and the fastest laps. Here we are with Lakitu up into P3. Been setting some blistering pace. The Haas driver when he makes his way towards S40. Sat in P2. Let's ride along with Extrema up in P1 as he comes through the last couple of chicanes. Is he going to pit or is he going to stay out? And in he comes. Our leader, Extrema, into the pits. 5 second stop-go penalty. Speeding in the pit lane. He is not going to be impressed with that. Out he comes on a super soft compound to take him to the end of the race. Coming out onto lap 9. And Lakitu. Ooh, that was close. Great pit strategy there from Extrema. He's on the fresher tyres, the faster compound. Can he make headway now and get to the end of the race while Extrema goes dirt rally? And we'll lose some delta there, he'll lose some time. But he closes the door on Lakitu. So I'm actually trying to find out, here we go, what the deltas are. So the deltas, no initial battles going on while we ride aboard with Lakitu in P2. And Slash with a 3 second penalty. Well, that's unfortunately Slash down in P13. So no one's going to be able to capitalise on that. Make our way through the field with I Decker in P4. Just over a second behind Pascal. P5, S40 TYD. And Cam close behind in P6. We've got Schnickschel sat in P7. Who last time out in Malaysia came home with a first place win. Let's ride on board with our Renault driver Joshua Luke, sat in P8, piling the pressure on Schnickschel. Half a second behind Schnickschel. Can he get close enough to get the slipstream? Needs to get a good exit out here. Get on the throttle. No, too far back. Too far back, but let's see what happens. Will he get on late on the brakes? And try and get through these chicanes quickly on the throttle, get good traction and try and get use of the DRS. He tucks in behind Schnickschel now, gets into the slipstream. Schnickschel's going to lose some time there going off, but unfortunately you're not going to be able to pass there. Well, we're lap 11 now. We've had 2 cars out of this race, Milan Klaus and Tom, with the early collision of the early laps. So let's make our way up to the front runners. So Lakitu, who is having an absolute stormer of a drive with his race pace, is 6/10 behind your race leader, Extrema. Are we going to see the last ditch battle, last couple of corners, last laps? as they come through the last section, last couple of corners. Lakito, who's missed the last couple of races. Who I believe is a reserve driver. And he's having an absolute stormer today in Suzuka. We've got Extrema, the race leader in P1, and the slightly fresher super soft compounds. Can he hold on? A lap and a half to go. Where we'll see some late driving magic from Lakito. Or will Extrema hold on, keep his composure, keep his nerve, and bring the Haas team home? So if you're watching, put your comments below. Driver of the day for the race 2. We had Pascal with a storming P1 win at race 1 in those treacherous conditions. So overall, he's had a fantastic drive today. So let's just go back down to P4 with IE Decker and Pascal. Delta, 4/10 gap now, coming through the last couple of chicanes and onto the pit straight. Can he get that car straight? And on the throttle as soon as you can. DRS in the slipstream. Good traction. Can he make a move? Pascal going defensive there. This is going to be interesting. Down into turn 1. Is the gap there? There is. But Pascal, great defending there. Manages to keep P3 for now. Let's go down to Schnitzel and Joshua Luke. The Renault and the Haas driver battling her out for P7 and 8. That Delta 4/10 gap now between these two. So Norrell P9, Jason P10. Had a good start of the race. And let's ride on board with Extrema. Coming through the last section now, with a 6/10 gap between Lakito. The Haas driver has had a solid drive today. Coming through the last couple of corners now. Coming to this tricky chicane. Take the curb. Get that wheel straight. And power your way home to P1. Fantastic drive from Extrema. Lakito in P2. And Pascal coming across with a P3 finish. Fantastic drive from the top 3 today. So Decker, IE Decker P4. Cam K P5. Bit of a better drive there from S40 today in round 2 with P6. Doesn't Extrema have a stop go? Well, that's an interesting one. I didn't see that. You may be right, Lakito. But for now, great effort from the Haas driver. Fantastic drive today. Open that champagne. Taste the glory, taste the victory. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. AOR F2 Sprint League. Round 4 and 5. So next for this, we have Japan. No, we don't. We have USA. I beg your pardon. So ladies and gentlemen, there we are. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next in the USA, where hopefully IEJ, myself or McQuiz will be with you throughout the procedure.